Hi, I am Enrico De Lucchi, Managing Director at Polyhub. Before joining Polyhub as General Manager, I have acted as a mentor in several different situations. Coach for high potential manager in large multinationals, mentor for brilliant university students, and of course, mentor for several startup entrepreneurs. If you interview successful entrepreneurs, you will probably find out that in most cases, they have received guidance from mentors. Yes, even the famous founders of the great tech companies have received some help, advice, and support from time to time. Innovation is a social activity, and no matter who you are, which is your educational and professional background, where you've come from, or what you have achieved, actively seeking advice and finding a good mentor is an invaluable advantage for your startup project. In fact, successful startup entrepreneurs most often make themselves available as mentors for newly formed ventures. They understand how invaluable is mentor support for a fresh new startup. Mentors do not help you by giving you answers, but by taking you in asking yourself the important questions. They share personal experiences, don't give opinions or judge. They are ready to open their network of contacts, built over decades of business experience. It's important to point out that the mentor-mentee relationship is based on trust, commitment, and effort invested by both parties. You should not expect your mentor to remove all the obstacles on your way or remedy all your mistakes. The mentor's advice will be effective only if you're willing to ask, listen, learn, and implement. Polyhub is a mentorship-driven accelerator, where every startup is supported by one or more expert mentors with experience in the relevant sectors who help accelerate the growth of the individual startups. Polyhub's Mentor Club now counts more than 100 professionals with a solid managerial experience and a consolidated background of collaboration with startups. Let me now introduce one of our mentors, Daniela Besana, who is going to tell us her experience as a mentor in Polyhub.
Hello, my name is Daniela Besana. I'm part of the adventure of Polyhub. I've been part of this adventure with Polyhub for 3 years now. I have a background in physics. I did some research and then I worked for about 20 years in information technology in big companies like IBM, Lenovo, NetApp, and more recently in another big one. I had this chance to get in touch with Polyhub 3 years ago when I was looking for something to be added to my career, which could combine my experience in business and in technology with my curiosity in scientific contents, deep tech, and innovation. And there was this great opportunity to attend the very first training for mentors at Polyhub, which I attended, and since then I became part of this mentor club. What does it mean for me to be a mentor, and what's in for me personally? There are multiple aspects, I would say. One is for sure that it's really interesting also for my roles in these big technological companies in terms of open innovation, because it's a great opportunity to understand similar technologies that are out there and that we can leverage. If a specific startup is able to grow, we can definitely leverage for grow jointly our business. From a personal perspective, it's also really exciting and charging. It provides a lot of energy because the startuppers are really creative, positive, optimistic people, and this also from a personal perspective is really enriching. And then also it provides also sense a sort of sense of meaning, because having always worked in bigger companies, which have this matrix structures, which have all these processes, sometimes it's very difficult to understand if you are really, let's say, just a wheel in a machine, or if you are really making the difference, and also to understand if the experience that you have acquired is meaningful just inside a bigger mechanism, or it may be meaningful and helpful also outside of it. And actually working with some startups at PolyHub, I actually realized that some of the experiences and knowledge and skills I was taking for granted in my day-by-day job could be really valuable for those who were starting their own business for the very first time. And so this is extremely, enriching. In terms of, I had the chance to meet, I think 4 or 5 startups up to now. One of the most important, I would say, is for sure PhotonPath, because we had the chance to have, I would say, a great exchange. They are great, not only for the kind of technology they have developed, and not only for the potential this technology has, that is being recognized by the investors, but also because of the team that is leading PhotonPath. They were absolutely open to get all the possible inputs from everywhere, and on the other hand, being fully conscious that it was finally up to them to make the best decision. So they were open on the one hand, but also self-confident enough to make their own decisions. And this is for sure probably something that we sometimes take for granted in startups. We sometimes think that the technology, especially in deep tech, is the only thing which may make the real difference for the startup, and probably it's not. And the team was great. In addition to that, I also believe they have a great technology, and they definitely have a potential to scale in the global market.
Hi, I'm Douglas, CEO and co-founder of PhotonPath. And in our mentorship program, Daniela really helped us in clearly defining our go-to-market strategy. Being our sales very technical, it was very important to have someone that understands both our tech and our market. Not in all of the details, of course, but someone that understands the product application and knows the dynamics of our specific B2B market. In our specific case, Daniela's input was crucial to fine-tune how we approach our customers. We have mapped in detail their needs, the segments that we are addressing, so that we could plan very carefully which features to offer in which order to those customers. And that was really game-changing for us, to have the clarity of this, of when to deliver what. It was very useful for us. And these inputs were mainly in the form of case studies and examples that Daniela had on her experience, on her career and her industry. I am very thankful to all of the effort that she dedicated to us, and I'm very proud of the results of what we have accomplished together.